All dogs think they are alphas. All dogs think they are alphas. Until they meet a fucking wolf.
Hello, hello. Hey, Stars, how you doing? Hey, Fawn, how are you? Hope you ladies are doing good. We'll give it a few minutes and then we'll get started. Ooh, I'm telling y'all, I am tired tonight. Other than being tired, I'm good. Fawn, thanks for asking. Thank you, Stars. The frogs is calling for more rain, and it stormed like I'll get out earlier. And for those that don't know, the thumbnail that I used, in case you need a visual, is actually Andrew. So I figured, each time I read, I would, give y'all a different visual of the wolf pack. There ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm sure people would love to have another Saturday. Hey, Tiger. Hey, how are you? I seen where you listened to the last reading, so you'd know where we were at. Obviously, your days are off on, right? 9 times out of 10, I have to look at my phone to see what day it is. I ain't even gonna lie. What's everybody's plans for tomorrow? I'm glad, Hope. I'm glad. That you do, Stars. That you do. Fun, you had a mind? I didn't know that. No, you know I'm picking on you. Right, Fun. Hey, Rip. How you doing? Awesome. Let us know how it is. Definitely have fun. Eat some popcorn and have a drink for us. At least I'm not inside, because then y'all would be hearing Sons of Anarchy. And I will go ahead and give y'all a heads up over here. And I'll give a heads up on Peach tomorrow. The month of October is looking like it's going to be a very, very busy month for me. So I'll have to plan accordingly for lives and whatnot. I'm going to smoke another cigarette and then we'll get started with tonight's The Wolf Saga, Part 5. Does anyone have any questions about the series so far? If so, I'll be glad to answer them. I'm trying to get my behind in gear so I can finish this series so I can start something new. Why did they have to die at 6 months old? I'm trying to remember who I had die, Hope. I seriously need my notes in front of me. Oh, you talking about the newborns? The newborns were only strong for the 6 months, you know, from the time they were turned. And once, their strength started to wane off is when they were killed. Their only purpose was to serve as a strong army for the ones that turned them. Sounds like there's a helicopter coming in. I'm having to remind myself to breathe. I get more nervous doing these readings than I do for any other live. Because normally I don't let anyone read or, hear what I've wrote. Thank you, stars.
Don't, I gotta get it out.
Yeah, because if Thor starts barking, he's on freak out. I'm talking about Zayden's on freak out. All right. Are we ready? I know who. I know. But okay, here we go. Tonight y'all actually get to find out what that strange sin is. Yes, I have a very, very difficult mind to understand. Sometimes I don't even understand my own mind. With Letty, of course, having to remain at home because of being pregnant, her ability to shift is being hindered. With being pregnant, her body is unable to shapeshift the way it should for her to be in her normal wolf form. The guys are out patrolling, and Andrew is out back working on a secret project that he's, of course, trying to keep from Letty, which is very difficult given their special mind link that they share as not only alphas, but as imprints as well. For those that don't know what a mind link is, it provides the pack or two imprints to be able to communicate mentally. They're able to speak to each other through what's called a mind link. And yes, there's a word for it, and I just can't think of it right now. It's something kind of like, psychic ability.
I thought it was called imprint.
It is, but not through with a mind link. They're able to talk to each other through their mind. I'm sure stars know. Telepathic. That's it. Telepathic link. Thank you, Heather.
It's ESPN.
That's right. It's ESPN and not the sports network. But okay.
What's he crying for?
With I've seen my niece's two dogs do that. I honestly believe, the animals can do that. I really do. You just typing that stars. So, to be a aspiring author, sometimes the words just leave my head. Seriously. But Andrew's out back working on a secret project, that he wants to present to Letty. Ty, which has been promoted to, well, he's beta, which is right under alpha. He's running along with Dax. They're both running, perimeter around the reservation. When all of a sudden they come across that strange scent once again. Dax types into the mind link and lets Ty know that he's found the scent again and he's following it. Ty says, "Wait up," and he, runs as fast as his forelegs can take him to where Dax is, and they both head for where the smell is the strongest. And as they enter the clearing, they see 6 nomad vampires, all surrounding a large white Siberian tiger. The tiger is, of course, fighting with everything within the tiger's body, trying her best to destroy those in front of her. Ty lets out a howl, alerting the other pack members that, there's trouble. Of course, the wolf pack, including Andrew, all leap into action. They all shift before racing to the area. Before they get there, both Ty and Dax, before Ty or Dax, either one, can even think about it, they jump into the fray. Both sensing that there's something different about this tiger than normal. The tiger is able to kill 2 of her opponents before a third one wraps its arms around her midsection and crushes the entire left side of her body. Yes, they're protecting her. Andrew arrives with the rest of the pack, and they quickly take out the other 3 nomads. As they hear the breaking of the tigress's bones, they turn to look at her in horror. Dax leaps upon the nomadic vampire that has its arms around the tiger's body. It quickly rips his head off. As the tiger's body slowly falls to the ground, the body begins to shift. Finally, as her head hits the ground, they see a young woman laying before them completely undressed. Dax looks down in surprise. The tiger, who apparently was a shifter, was his cousin. The tiger shifter is Leah Clearwater's daughter. None had known that she did have the shifting gene, but she was not a wolf shifter. None had ever heard of there being a different shifter breed than a wolf. Yes, ma'am, stars. Shapeshifter. Their tribe has only known of a wolf shifter. Quickly, Dax scoops his cousin up in his arms, and they all race back to their home. back to the pack house. As they enter the pack house, Letty is standing in the living room because, of course, having Wolf hearing, she was able to hear them coming. As Dax lays his cousin down, hang on a second. As Dax lays his cousin down on the couch, Letty looks at the others and said, "What the hell? What's going on?" Andrew takes Letty to the side and explains to her what had happened, and that they now know what the strange scent was. Marissa, Dax's cousin, practically grew up with Letty and her siblings, Asher and Allie. Leah had lived alongside Letty's father when they all lived with the Cullen clan up in Alaska after they had left Forks years before. Marissa was like a sister to Letty, and Letty was ashamed that Marissa did not feel comfortable to let her know what she was able to become. They all gathered around Marissa as best as they could. Letty calls her great-grandfather Carlisle and asks him to come to the house. And of course, Carlisle made it there within quick time. Instead of driving his car, he of course took off through the forest and quickly arrived at the cabin. As Carlisle entered the house, of course, all the wolves were on nerve end, even though they knew that the vegetarian vampire would not harm them. They were still mortal enemies, even though their alpha female was Carlisle's great-granddaughter. Carlisle immediately bent down next to Marissa and examined her body with his fingers and his hands. He asked Andrew what had happened. Andrew explained to him about the nomadic vampires and Dax and Ty coming across Marissa, and of her being in tiger form when they found her. Carlisle nodded his head and he said that they were some known shapeshifters in Russia. Carlisle went on to explain that Marissa's father was indeed from Russia. That many years ago that Leah had had a fling with a Russian man while they were up in the Denali forest in Alaska with the Denali vegetarian clan. So that would make sense. But no one had known at the time that it happened that he was a shapeshifter. The worry now was, much like their canine and feline cousins, much like their feline cousins, Big cats and wolves in the wild were known to not get along. Nah, Hoot, I'll have to show y'all a picture of Marissa's dad one night. Yeah. Definitely not Putin. Definitely not Putin. But anyway, Carlisle done what he could for Marissa. With her, of course, being a shapeshifter, she would be able to recover faster than a normal human being would. Marissa came to shortly after Carlisle returned home. As she looked around at the surrounding pack members, as she knew that her secret was out. She knew that she could no longer keep it a secret as to what she truly was. However, she made all of them swear that they would never utter a word to her mother, Leah. She did not want her mother to worry about her. The pack, of course, respected her privacy and swore that they never would. And they asked her, the normal questions. How long have you been like this? Why haven't we ever noticed before that you're different? They were overwhelming her with questions. Everyone shouting questions left and right. Finally, Letty raised her voice and told them all to chill the fuck out. Let Marissa have a few minutes. God, don't you guys know anything? Letty squats beside Marissa's side and tells her, you can tell us your story when you're ready. Don't let these knuckleheads overwhelm you. Marissa smiles at Letty and thanks her very much. Letty looked at two youngest members, Brady and Rebecca's two youngest sons, Jamie and Ryan, and asked them to go get one of the cabins ready out back. That way they could move Marissa to it so she would have room to be by herself. Yes, Hoot, she was born with it, but like the wolves, she would not start shifting until she was old enough. And like the wolves, it's not a trigger thing for her. She can shift much like they can at will, but she is able to hide her scent. Jamie and Ryan quickly run out the door to the closest cabin and open the windows to let it air out. And they make sure that the pantry and the refrigerator is well stocked. Letty wants Marissa close, but she also wants her to be able to have her own space. And she knows how loud the pack house can be. And she doesn't want Marissa to be bothered while she's trying to heal. Without knowing too much about tigers, or tiger shifters for that matter, they don't quite know how long the healing process will take. But assuming with Leah's genetics instilled in Marissa through birth, that it shouldn't take very long. Letty goes into the kitchen and makes a bowl of soup for Marissa. Of course, it's not the normal bowl of soup for a human. It's actually a serving dish full of soup. All shapeshifters have the ability to consume 3 and 4 times normal amount for a human in one go. Bringing the bowl back to Marissa, Marissa smiles at Letty and thanks her very much. While the soup is cooling, Marissa proceeds to tell the pack about the first time she ever shifted. She had been out for a walk near Forks when she first shifted. Much like a wolf, her first shift had been unbearably painful. She had honestly thought that she was dying. And she was alone. It had took her 3 hours to be able to fully shift. And once she finally had, she had lain on the ground, panting, trying to recover from the shift. When the pain had finally let up enough for her to be able to move, she had stood up. And as she stood up, she looked down. She had seen white with black stripes on her legs and her feet. Luckily, she had been near a stream. Padding over to the stream, she looked down. Instead of seeing what she thought would be a beautiful wolf, she saw a large 6-foot white Siberian tiger. It had taken her almost a week to be able to shift back to her human form. Not only from the pain of the first shift, but in the confusion. Why was she a tiger when her mother had been the first female shapeshifter in Quillette history? Not once had she thought about perhaps the genetics had come from her father. But eventually she had figured it out that it was most likely from her father's side of the family. Even though no one had ever heard about other shapeshifters, other than in fairy tales and nocturnal books and stuff like that. Her favorite books as a child had been about other shapeshifters. She had regaled at the stories that her mom and Jake and the Cullens and even the people back home in La Push had told about the wolf pack. Her favorite times as a kid had been when they would come back to La Push and Billy Black would share the legends of the tribe. The man had had a storytelling voice. Though he had passed down the wolf gene and it had been passed down to him, he had never came in contact with vampires when he was of the age to be able to shapeshift. The magic of the Quillette bloodline had flowed through Billy Black's veins, allowing him to be able to weave something like magic within his tales of the legends. and they were always told at night around a campfire. Back then, only the elders knew that the legends were true. The elders and the pack members and the Cullens. Because you see, the pack and the Quillettes had had a long history with the Cullens. Letty's great grandfather, Ephraim Black, had been the one to sign the peace treaty with the Cullens, because Cullens showed the Quillettes that they were not normal vampires, that they indeed drank the blood of animals. They do not prey on humans. As Marissa finished her tale of her first shift, and after she had told them how she was able to not reveal herself to the pack by hunting and running patrol on the other side of Forks, she dozed off back to sleep after she was finished with her soup. Not wanting to disturb her, the others had moved out of the room. Hey, David, how are you? They moved to the kitchen, all of them talking as quiet as they could about what Marissa had told them. They felt lucky now knowing that they weren't the only shapeshifters in existence. With the realization that there was a tiger shifter in their midst, what other shifters could be out there? Letty says about making dinner for the pack and for Marissa, while Dax and Ty go back out to finish their patrol shift.
Throw it out the yard, Papa. No.
No,
Why you keep letting them in, Ricky?
I ain't letting nothing in.
He heard you say something about Thor waking up and losing his shit, and he lost his shit. Thor's nickname is
I'm sorry. Got distracted. Letty says about making dinner for the pack. Ty and Dax goes back to finish their patrol. Everything's quiet upon the reservation. All of the pack and their imprints return back for dinner. Marissa is able to get up and join them at the table, though she's slow. But her body has already started the healing process. Got people trying to give stuff away by email. What the hell? Days pass. Everything's quiet. No nomadic vampires around. Marissa's slowly healing. the pack decides to throw their annual, oh Lord, this is funny, their annual Labor Day cookout. So they're planning for it, which is still a couple of weeks away. But you have to plan ahead. Make sure that, everything's perfect. Letty's stomach's quickly growing. With the prospect of having two twins, that's normal, even for a shapeshifter. Though she retains her strength and her ability to eat enough for quite a few human beings. Of course, with pregnancy, her hormones are all over the place. And Andrew has been secretive. Of course, being a woman with her hormones all over the place, Letty's upset that Andrew won't tell her what's going on. He refuses to let her into the baby's room. And finally, one night, she just can't take it. She confronts Andrew when he comes home from patrol. And finally, Andrew takes her hand and leads her up to the twins' bedroom. As he opens the door, she sees what Andrew has been doing. He has painted murals on the wall of the forest with wolves running in between the trees on the wall. There are glow-in-the-dark painted stars on the ceiling. He has made the twins each their very own hand-carved baby beds. They cannot hope. Their body will not allow them to shift when they're pregnant. And Letty's the first female shapeshifter to ever become pregnant, in which she's only the second female shapeshifter in history either, as far as the Quillettes are. Letty is amazed by what Andrew has done. She's speechless as she stands there in the middle of the room, tears flowing down her cheeks. She turns to Andrew and she can't thank him because she's crying. Andrew slowly takes her into his arms and holds her tightly as he tells her everything's going to be okay. Before either of them can process what's going on, they hear water hitting the floor. All of a sudden, Letty screams out in pain. Andrew quickly realizes what has happened. Letty has went into labor. Her water has broke. Scooping Letty up into his arms, Andrew races out the house and runs through the forest to the Cullens' house. Before he can reach the door, Alice is standing at the door with the door open. Of course, she had foreseen what was happening. She knew that Andrew was on the way with Letty. Carlisle already had everything set up in his medical room, awaiting the couple to come in. For 13 hours, Letty labors before finally their son is born. As Carlisle gently receives the baby into his arms, Andrew carefully cuts the umbilical cord, separating his imprint and son. Carlisle hands the baby to Alice so she can gently wash the blood and the amniotic fluid from the boy. As Letty starts once again laboring to try to have the other twin. Within moments, beautiful baby girl is born. Both children have the dark coloring of the Quillette tribe, yet each has red tint to their hair, much like their grandmother, Letty's mother. Yet Letty pushes this from her mind as she gently takes both her children into her arms. Both Letty and Andrew both can't help but grin. Both babies are healthy and happy, and luckily they are able to drink milk. Unlike Letty and her mother before her, neither twin has to have blood infused milk. Perhaps they're more normal than they are wolf or vampire. For in this set of twins, the vampire gene is not prominent. They are more human and wolf than they are vampire, which is lucky. Though Letty values the vampiric side of herself, she does not wish for her children to have to battle the bloodlust that sometimes does overcome her. Of course, with her body going through the traumatic process that it has just went through, Carlisle suggests that she has blood. But first, Letty wants a few moments alone with her new family. As Carlisle and Alice and SMA backside of the room to give the tiny family some privacy, Letty holds her daughter as Andrew holds their son. Both are set in amazement as they stare down at their children. Letty looks at Andrew and says, "What shall we name them?" And Andrew looks at her and says, "How about for our son, we name him William Samuel?" Letty grins and says, "I love it. William for Grandpa Billy, and Samuel for your father." Andrew nods. Letty said, "And what about our beautiful daughter?" And Andrew looks at her at a loss for words. And Letty looks down at their daughter, then looks back up at her imprint and said, "What about Summer Rose?" Both loved the name. Finally, after a few more moments alone with their family, Letty can no longer resist the urge to go hunting. Leaving Andrew alone with their twins and her family, Letty goes out of the Cullen house. Immediately shifting, she notices there is no pain. Her body is able to fully heal once she shifts. Taking off through the forest, she begins to hunt. She quickly tracks down a deer. Taking the deer down, she drinks its blood. Because just like her Cullen family, she is also a vegetarian vampire. So that will conclude tonight's reading. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I know tonight was a little more all over the place than it usually is. But I did tell y'all what the new strange scent was, right? Have I put everybody to sleep? Thank you, Hoot. The new strange scent was Marissa. Marissa is Leah Clearwater's daughter. And instead of being a wolf shifter, she is a white Siberian tiger shapeshifter. Under the back cloud. I'm going to give it about 5.5 more minutes, guys. No, it's not a demon, David. Thank you, Hoot. That really encourages me. You don't know how much I appreciate that. Sometimes we need that mental escape from everyday life. You know, enter a land of fantasy. That and two, this is my way to remember my friend. he would have loved hearing Andrew and Letty's story told on YouTube. He always encouraged me to share my writing, and I wouldn't do it. Thank you, Hook. He was a very, very good man. He really was. I need to put together a video with, yeah. Thank you, David. And as far as I know, I'll be going live at my normal time tomorrow night over on Peach. If something changes, I'll let everybody know, though. I actually planned to do this earlier, but some stuff come up, so. And you know how that goes. It's supposed to storm here all night, but right now it's not storming. However, North Georgia is hey Keith. North Georgia is under a state of emergency due to flooding. You good, Hope. You good. You can call me Peach over here. It's okay. You good. Ain't no problem at all. Keith, how's your week been? I know you've been busy. And Hooch, you ain't old. You lit. But alright, guys. I'm gonna let the wolves take us out. And I will see y'all tomorrow night at 7 on Peach. You guys know I love y'all. Keep your heads on a swivel. Stay prepped up. Stay prayed up.
All dogs think they are alphas. Until they meet a fucking wolf.